Welcome back, everyone. It's the lightning round now, where we take a look at some of the most talked about topics of the week. Did you know there is a new Edward Snowden action figure? That's right. For 99 bucks, you and your child can play with one of America's most wanted fugitives. So there you go, everybody. I want to weigh in on this. Is Eric Snowden going to be Barbie's new date? I can't quite figure out what they're doing here, but Dee Dee, you're shaking your head. You're not going to go buy this for 99 bucks.
This is the most idiotic idea I've ever heard. It's not even a cute action figure. And why is it action figure? It didn't even do anything athletic. He's a goofball. He's a traitor. It's awful. So I wouldn't, it's a booby prize. I wouldn't even, if somebody paid me $99 to take it, I wouldn't.
I will say the Julian Assange doll next to him, though, does look quite a bit like Julian Assange. I mean, I'll give the, crafters that.
Well, I don't know, Mark. I mean, you're the PR guru. I guess somebody's going to buy this, but I'm interested to see what the sales are going to be.
I love creative ideas, but I agree with you.
Oh my gosh, what a zero.
I don't see anything with this.
Someone's going to buy this to say, I have $99 to burn. That's what they're going to do. They're going to brag that I burned
No,
$99.
they're going to do YouTube. They're going to set it up and they're going to shoot it down and blow it to bits, and it's going to be a YouTube sensation. That's what's going to happen.
Well, I'm kind of curious to see, where, like, if the money is going to be donated to something for him or
his fund,
or something. Yeah. I just find this to be so bizarre.
At this chalet in Russia, what kind of fun are we going to, put together for this guy? Give me a break.
I want to know what Snowden thinks about what's going on in Ukraine.
That's right. Let's try and get him on the phone next time.
Yeah, he was good.
And it was a great big computer. Oh, and nice shoes there. Well done.
All right. Well, we also want to talk about, there was a Kentucky pastor, if you didn't hear about this one, who co-starred in the TV show Snake Salvation. He died of a snake bite. It was his 9th snake bite. He supposedly he refused all medical treatment. It was just a bizarre story, but believed that the snakes couldn't hurt you. So, but a lot of people are talking about this. This is being one of the most talked about topics on the internet, as we say. Dee Dee?
Well, I don't know if I should say this or not. It's a little embarrassing, but I was born in that area. So these things happen, and it happens all the time. It's Appalachia, where you kind of don't get the social media as much. I mean, you might, but you really are. It's a different breed. It truly is. And this does happen. I've seen it. I know people have done it, and they believe in it. And the guy was stubborn. He's like, you know what? Forget it. I'm a snake handler. I'm going down as a snake handler. And that was his thought process.
But what is the point in
he thought he was going to survive it. He thought, you know what, I'm going to take the risk because I am that cool as a snake handler.
There's a passage in the Gospel of Mark, it's the very end of Mark, that talks about, that you can be healed by, from all the snake bites, and you can handle snakes. And people just run with that as proof of some sort of blessing. And I think this is an example of sort of missing the full gospel message for some details. There are some other things Jesus said besides holding snakes. So I think we should focus on the loving and helping
look at the guy. You can tell he wasn't all there. I mean, come on, take a look.
Let's go Jesus'
we had some dementia going on here.
Well, and I don't mean to laugh because the man did lose his life, but
I know, but after 9 times, it's like he thought 8 times he survived. That 9th time, he's like, forget it. I mean, if you're going to be that stupid, I mean, you deserve to be laughed at. I know it sounds crass, but come on.
Well, I guess maybe he thought he was a cat and had 9 lives.
Yeah, good one.
This guy's got a family, so I'm not going to laugh. But it does, there's something called wisdom. Let's use it. If the snake's biting you and you survived, if you survived 8 times, that is actually a little miraculous. You should have stopped at number 1.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to just let you all know one thing. I was actually bitten by a snake in Australia in 2000. Yeah, 2000.
You didn't risk it again, did you?
What's that?
That was one time, right?
Well, what was interesting is there's 102 different species of snakes in Australia, and 4 of them are non-poisonous, and I got the 1 out of the 4. So
now that's a miracle.
Good deal.
So that's my little story on snake bites. All right, we're going to move along. We think we can all now agree that Jimmy Fallon is a worthy successor for The Tonight Show. Couple different things happened this week. One of the things, one of his first guests was Joan Rivers. She basically, was banned with this big fight that she had with Johnny Carson when she took over her own talk show. What an interesting concept to bring her back on the first night. Mark?
I thought she was also part of the concept, which I loved, where you had that string of 10 or so celebrities come out and give them the $100 for now having their own, which I thought was just a great segment. And some of those you want to see, who's next? Who's coming out next? But it's to me, Jimmy Fallon is so likable.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He's it right now. He really is it.
Like his Brian Williams doing Rapper's Delight. I'm just telling you right now, I have watched that 5 times.
Yeah.
He has killed it this week. I mean, he came out of the box so ready.
Doing a Cabbage Patch.
This was amazing. I mean, this was.
And what I think is also kind of interesting is he's made it a point to say that he's not going after the younger audience. He wants to make sure that he has an older audience as well.
He wants to keep the audience they have.
Yeah.
Well, and he's going to automatically add to the younger audience. It's going to happen.
But what do you think this is going to do for Letterman? I mean, you and I are big Letterman fans.
Yeah.
But, you know.
You turn the channel, you see Letterman during a break, and it goes back to, how long will Letterman still be relevant? I don't know. I don't know.
I think he dies in the chair, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't want him to die, but I want him to be there forever. I think he's great. I love Letterman. I love Fallon. Hey, there's room for more than one.
But I think it was a little bit different because he was on the West Coast before, and it was a little different. Now you're both in New York City, and I'm sure that in Hollywood there's a couple of people that won't go on one show. I'm sure there's a couple of secrets that we don't know about.
I'm sure.
But
I think whenever Letterman goes, it will not be. I think CBS is going to handle it a lot better than NBC handled it. I mean, this show Dave founded. I mean, Dave founded the show on CBS. I think CBS is going to let him have that until he wants. And you kind of get the sense with Letterman that he's getting ready. I mean, he's sort of winding down. So
he's going to be in his late 60s.
He is, and so I wouldn't be surprised within the next 5 years if they start grooming a succrassor.
And he's still just as funny, but he is getting crankier.
Yeah.
Which sort of makes him funnier. But I love him. I think he's great.
I think that the crankiness, well, and he's got his own style. He's got his crankiness. But the one thing that I do like about Jimmy Fallon that I was reading about, he is not going to have people come on and just plug their brand or their new movie or their new book. It's going to be, he wants people to come on and play cards with him or do something bizarre like that. But from a PR standpoint, is that good for him, but maybe not so good for the folks that need
Absolutely, great for him, but I mean, they are doing these shows for a reason, right? They're going on these shows for a reason. There's something they're plugging, that next movie, that project, even a brand they're working with. So they'll just have to be creative in getting it in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I actually think this is a good thing because what it's going to basically force people to do, instead of just walking in there and saying, here's the movie I'm on, do something fun,
which
is probably going to get...
It'll give them more play
It'll give exactly. It's going to give them more buzz, and then it'll be trending on Facebook.
Did you see so-and-so do the drinking game? But and they're in the movie, so they're automatically going to get the buzz.
Right. And I think it's also it's not transparent when somebody comes on just as talking about their...
And it gets old. It's boring.
And who wants to see it?
Yeah,
no,
and they're creative. I mean, he's got a great staff. He's so talented. Boy, I mean, it is a welcome change.
And he also had, of course, the First Lady on. There she is right there. And that, I mean, how do you top all that? I mean, it was just a phenomenal first week.
We'll see what week 2 brings.
Now, I'm curious, Dee Dee, because I got to say, Fallon, he's tight with the Obamas. They're on all the time.
That's all right. I love Fallon. I think he's great. I mean, there's a difference between entertainment and politics.
And he's pretty tight with Christie, too. So,
Well, that's good.
He's on both sides.
I think the other side, too, what made him real was he had his parents in the audience the first night. And you felt like, you never see that.
He's a humble guy, don't you think? I think he's just a regular, humble, great, funny guy.
But Letterman always has his mom on, so I'm defending Letterman on this one.
Letterman's mom and I go to the same church. I don't go there often, but we do belong to the same church, and everybody loves her. She's a rock star, of course.
So, all right, well, we're going to go on to our last subject. Facebook, you may have heard, well, they spent $19 billion this week. The social media giant dropped that mind-boggling amount Wednesday on WhatsApp, paying 19 times more than it did for Instagram. Now, incidentally, that's the gross national product of some small countries. So why did they buy a texting app that most people had never even heard of? And Dee Dee, I know you have that answer.
I do. Well, I have this app, and I like it. I don't know if it's worth that, but it is a good app because it's international. Basically what it is you can text, like when someone's in Ireland. So it's an international texting thing, and it's free. So, a lot of people use it. So I think it's smart. I mean, that seems like an awful lot of money, but it is a great app.
Well, I'm just trying to think. On my iPhone, I can text internationally.
I don't think you're all the time. I think that there's some restrictions. I mean, can you really text someone in Ireland? I don't know. I mean,
but I think to your point, it's a free texting app when you're out of the country.
Communication tool.
Yeah, but for $19 billion, are they ever going to recoup that kind of money?
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, that's just insanity. To my knowledge. I could be wrong.
No, I mean, obviously, Zuckerberg's a great business guy, but I don't understand. I mean, I'm just trying to get the idea that $19 billion, where do you recoup that? Advertising? I mean...
No, well, that's the thing. I mean, anytime Facebook, Yahoo, Google make one of these acquisitions for billions, you shake your head, but somehow, some way, and they don't all work. They don't all work.
It almost seems like they want to take it and own it and then figure it out because right now it seems like they have not figured it out, but they want to own it.
But the thing is, like, I always wonder, like, what's to stop somebody else from creating something so similar? And there goes your $19 billion.
You know, as we're sitting here thinking about it, you know, there's so many things, financial things that happen that make you scratch your head, and then you assume, the people doing this, they must know what they're talking about. 3 years later, a bubble bursts, and you realize these people don't know what they're talking about. And so I'm tempted to wonder whether Mark Zuckerberg really just did something just monumentally stupid.
Well,
I don't know.
But he made a ton of money, though. I mean, he's going to be okay. I mean, what he came up with really is amazing on Facebook.
Well, yeah, but again, sometimes people, it's a head scratcher, and then you realize later on it's a head scratcher for a reason.
Well, Mark, thank you so much again for being on the show and sharing your insights, our new PR guru, if you will. Dr. Michael McCoy, always a pleasure to have you on, and Dee Dee, always good to have our friend here. That's all we have time for this week. I'm Mia Toski. From all of us here at Fresh Outlook, thanks for spending an hour with us, and we'll see you back here next week.